What is up, everybody? Clashing Conferences members group is back on Tuesday nights. We do this recording. I am live from the studio tonight, once again, proving, and Cody live from the car, proving that once again you can do this from anywhere. All you need is a phone or an iPad. The producer does everything else except for tonight because I, again, am the producer and I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So I'm just going to continue sitting in this chair. We're going to hope all goes well and smooth, and Steve will clean up anything that I mess up here, hopefully in production. But before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Sparrow Hair Studio. If you're in the Lancaster area and need a haircut, please check out Sparrow Hair Studios. Being a member of our network will get you a discount, so go see Lean. She'll take good care of you. Also, Lotwin. I'm going to get this right this week. Lotwin, Lotwyn. I've been spelling it from the phonetic spelling that was given it to me by Mr. Producer. I apologize to Lotwin. I am buying a chain tonight to make up for this. So let's get me a chain for a future podcast. Rep your team with a custom 3D printed hype chain from Lotwin. Big win, game day, or just showing out, these made-to-order chains bring the energy. Use code TCCPOD for 10% off or grab one of our oversized hype chains on their website to support our network. Links in the description. Little example of our hype chain. It's really cool. Check it out. Get one. Support us. Support Lotwin. Support Sparrow. We appreciate you guys. Let's get into what's been going on the past week. I think we got a lot to get into. We got some WWE fans here tonight. We got the draft coming up in less than 48 hours from the time we record. When this podcast hits you, you will know kind of what happened in the first round, or just to be about to. And also, we got NBA playoffs going on. We got Portal going on. I mean, outside of the first Sunday of football and March Madness, this is a great time to be a sports fan. So let's lead off with, I want to lead off with a little WWE. You guys been in this Discord chat talking WWE, bleeding my ears with this stuff. What happened out there? I don't know. I didn't see it. Tell me what we had.
Real quick, Mike, what's your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show currently or of all time?
Pick a TV show currently, all time. What's your favorite?
Lost.
Well, guess what? Lost is just as real as the WWE, so stop making fun of it.
Stop.
Wow.
Saying
shots fired already.
I'm pro
letting you guys
WWE.
lead off with this garbage. What do you want from me?
I'm saying that from a pro WWE standpoint. I'm saying if you can release your mind to enjoy Lost, you can release your mind and enjoy the product that the WWE puts out. And that's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Fair. That's fair.
It's amazing right now. Incredible.
Yep.
Hey, go ahead. Give us a quick rundown on WrestleMania, brother.
Ah, man. Well, I think the biggest news is John Cena coming back, winning his 17th title, all-time leader in that. It didn't play out like I thought it was going to. I didn't hate what happened, but I thought they could have done better. I thought it was a good match with him and Cody.
I gave it my all.
Yeah. I think they underutilized Cena a little bit to probably save him, since that was his first legit match. But yeah, that was probably the biggest highlight of the weekend. Honestly, my favorite match of the weekend was probably the women's triple threat. I thought that was probably the most action and one of the best storylines going into the weekend. And, of course, say his name and he appears. Joe Hendry. I love it.
That was a fun moment.
Definitely was not expecting that, but I think that was probably the loudest pop from the crowd all weekend.
Do you think Vince was turning over in his chair, seeing the TNA champion walk out on WrestleMania with the TNA belt? He's probably puking in his chair.
Yeah, he was sick.
Then I want to pray for the girl.
I thought that the best match of the weekend was the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental title. I thought that was pretty good across the board. I liked seeing Dom Mysterio get over, especially if it has to come at the expense of Finn Balor, and maybe get Finn Balor back in the title mix, away from the Judgment Day, and back kind of where he belongs in the World Heavyweight title mix. But We'll see. I thought it was an overall good product. I was kind of worried that first match, if I'm being honest, that Jey Uso Gunther fight was awful.
It was
Like
garbage.
Horrible.
I was in
Garbage.
such a
Horrible.
bad mood after that match. I was like, oh no, this is going to be a terrible product.
I
And then
didn't.
that night was a huge saver. That main event that night with
Yep.
Heyman and Rollins and Reigns, like,
And
you
what a
know.
turn of
didn't get-
events that was.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't get the finish of the Jey Uso Gunther match. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why he made him tap out. I mean, Gunther's been made
Yeah.
out to be like this indestructible guy. He only lost 3 matches. He never taps out. He's only tapped out one time, and he taps out to a sleeper hold after like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Made no
Like
Yeah,
a
sense.
guy that doesn't do sleeper holds. He was just like, I'm going
Yeah,
to do a
right.
sleeper hold
And
out of
I
nowhere.
just don't understand the whole push for Jey Uso. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of Gunther, but I understood him coming into the company and having such a big run so quickly. I just not a Uso fan whatsoever. I don't understand. Yeah, stop. I don't understand that storyline at all. I think from some stuff I read online, especially with Sami Zayn coming out last night on Raw, I think my personal opinion, Jey Uso is going to join The Rock. That's what I think. Uso is going to turn heel.
He might.
Sometime.
Well, I think what you're
Not
going to see, if I had to think where things are going, is they're trying to put Roman on an island by himself. And like everyone that was part of, the tribe and everything like that is going to kind of leave him like by himself. And he's going to have a bit of a baby face turn from where he has been and everything like that.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I definitely can see that. I love that Orton came out on Raw last night. I think that's a perfect first run for Cena. The only thing that I wish, and I don't know if this is a hot take, but the only thing I wish is I wish that Edge was not AEW champion right now because he's the only guy I'd love to see feud Cena that's not in the company right now.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I think the best moment though was Stone Cold wrecking the 4-wheeler into the barrier.
Yeah.
Did you see the clip of him trying to get up the ramp to come down before he even did that? He missed a 20-foot wide ramp to come down the long aisleway. It was incredible.
Oh, he was hammered. He was hammered already before he even went up there. Yeah.
He done that a couple.
I do want to call out that Randler said his favorite TV show is Lost, and by the look on his face, he's completely lost in watching how this conversation is going right now.
I'm trying not to fall asleep over here. Steve's looking at me like Steve's like checking on me like.
Listen, if you didn't fall asleep during the Charlotte Hornets 82 game season, you're not going to fall asleep during the WWE talk, okay?
Hey, I gotta ask because he looks like he's enjoying this as much as me. Ben, do you have any idea what's going on here?
I'd call myself a fair weather WWE fan. My friends are definitely more into it than I am.
Okay.
I did watch a little on Saturday. I left right as Becky Lynch came back on Sunday, unfortunately. The man is my girl. She's very beautiful. But I don't know if I can give it an honest take about WWE and wrestling.
You gave much more of a take than I was expecting based on your 7 minutes of silence.
Yeah, I would say overall, I think WrestleMania was a success, but I don't rank it up there in the top 5, maybe not even the top 10 WrestleManias of all time.
It wasn't better than last year.
No. It was when you put it in a stadium like that, that's not a wrestling city. It wasn't as loud as what WrestleMania should be. Like last year when it was in Philly. And I'm not saying that because it was in Philly, but Philly's a wrestling town, right? So it's a wrestling city. So they were hyped from moment it started till the moment it ended.
And you had like more guest appearances in the main event. I was expecting The Rock to come out. I
still don't understand the Travis Scott angle. I don't understand it.
I don't either.
Dumb.
It's kind of dumb. He's not athletic. It just looked like it was forced.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like last year, I mean, granted, when you look back at last year and you watch when the Undertaker and Rock and Cena battled in that main event, it kind of looked like it was a little staged. Like it looked real staged at that point. Like, oh, I'm gonna pretend to hit you now, and then you're gonna choke slam me. Like that looked pretty awkward. But it was the nostalgia moment, right? We didn't have that this year. We didn't have anything like that. But like you said, Trey, when Orton came out last night, that was pretty sweet. I like that. I don't know what they're setting that up to be. I don't know when that'll end up happening, but it's going to be fun.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
he's
also like I think a lot of people got in their own heads that like I enjoyed the main event because I'm a Cena guy. I like that Cena got 17. I think he's the guy that deserves to break Flair's record, and I can stand behind that. The thing that kind of sucks about it all is like you did build Cody up to this, like like you built Cody up so much and made him get over so hard that this was a hard way for him to lose. So I
Yeah.
understand the people that were like a little upset at the main event, but like you have to know, like this was whether John Cena's a heel, a babyface, whatever. Like they were going to make him champion at WrestleMania because this is what they wanted. Period. And now anything
right.
else that happens after this can be storytelling. So I think the storytelling lacked a little bit because you kind of knew that Cena had to win it then because he's only got till SummerSlam, if I'm correct, is when his contract is technically
No,
going to end.
he's going till
All
December.
year.
He's going to
All year.
December. Yep. So he'll probably retire, officially call it after Survivor Series, depending on who he faces there. But I will say, and to your point, Patty, I think they did do a good enough job of protecting Cody in some capacity because Cena has slaughtered people on the mic over the years, and he did not do that. He kind of took the angle of going after the crowd and going after the fans more so than going after Cody. So they did somewhat protect him in that way. So they did build him up, and I still think he's still up at that level. He just, he did carry the company for a year and doing all the live events, doing all the publicity and everything. So, but yeah, I do agree that I don't think it was a waste, but they definitely could have went longer with it for sure.
I just hope Cena doesn't have a short title run. I hope this goes almost the rest of the year. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was saying Cody Rhodes has a framed picture of his dad winning the championship at Madison Square Garden above his fireplace. And if I remember correctly, the last pay-per-view of the year is in Madison Square Garden. So I think Cody has a possibility of winning it back and kind of remaking history of his father.
Good
That'd be a good
storytelling.
one. That'd be a good one.
All
Yep.
right,
Well,
Mike, you can move on now if
we
you want.
we we are a sports fan network. Do you guys want to talk sports tonight?
We
Yeah.
just did.
I
It's
dare
sports
you to say
entertainment.
that to a professional wrestler. I dare you to say that and see what
Yeah,
happens to
what if
you.
John Cena was here?
Get in
Well, we
line
couldn't
right
see.
behind Topher, who's going
Thing
to
we don't
call him
have
You
meat.
couldn't
any
You know
see
what
him.
to
If he was
any
assume.
here, you could
professional
not see
wrestlers
him.
You're
on our
right. You're
roster.
right.
I don't know if anyone can see on my screen. I love John Cena. He's probably my favorite wrestler. I got his never give up towel as a reminder every day as I walk out my room. So I can
Well,
always get behind the Boston boys.
let me see if I
It's the
can get
power
you
of
into our next
positivity.
topic as a segue here,
That's right.
Ben. Who's your favorite basketball player? Because one of your big names seems to be having an issue right now. You sweating this at all?
Ah, yeah, I am sweating a little bit. Orlando has given us a little bit of trouble in the regular season the last few years. They have been games where Tatum has been out, so that does get me a little bit worried. If there's any way that they can get back into this series, it's game two. If Jason Tatum is out, that's their only chance to get back in the series. But all that aside, before the series, season five. I was sticking to that.
Okay.
It's
Patty,
not even going to
agree?
take 5, Ben. It's going to take 4. I'm telling you right now,
Yeah,
they
probably.
I don't care. All right, Orlando played well, but here's what they don't do. Their guards, with Jalen Suggs out and Mo Wagner out down low, cannot keep up with our guards.
Big.
You
Yep.
saw it with Derek White. You saw it. Jalen Brown barely scored coming off the illness or injury, whatever he was coming off of. And then you didn't even talk about like Drew Holiday's playoff run last year was like 18 to 22 points a game in the finals. He scored, I think, like 11 last game because he's not really shooting because he doesn't have to. Sixth man of the year off the bench. Sam Hauser off the bench. Like, maybe they steal a game, but I would be very, very surprised if the Celtics don't shut the door in
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, I'm not sweating, but if Tatum is out tomorrow, that's their only chance. Only chance. Because plenty of guys, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis didn't really play that great in game one, and we still beat him by what, like 15?
I
I
don't
think.
even know exactly what is Tatum's issue.
He fell on his wrist. There was like a hard foul, and he came down. It wasn't flagrant or anything like that, but he came down, and at first I thought it was his leg, but he kind of like came down on his wrist like this, and he got up kind of like going like this, where you're trying to like feel your grip out and everything like that.
Has he been through scans and
So,
everything? Do we know that
yeah,
it's not going to be
there's
long
no
Yeah.
term?
break or fracture or
Okay,
anything like
all right.
that. So
He's day to day at the moment. Might miss the game tomorrow. Luckily, we have great depth to really pick up the slack. So,
What's
like,
that
would I
like having a
be?
bench? What's that like having a
Uh,
bench? Because there's a certain
uh,
other member of this podcast that
You
doesn't know what that's like.
you beat me to it. Beat me to it.
You don't get a
yeah,
better bench than what the Celtics put out there.
it's wonderful. It's quite
all
wonderful.
homegrown for the most part too, except bringing Al
Yeah,
Horford back.
and
Except for the
and
exception of bringing Al Horford back from the Sixers a couple years ago.
You're
It's all
welcome.
homegrown.
You're
Pritchard's a
welcome.
draft pick. Hauser's a draft
thank
pick.
you.
You know?
Yep, we got
You're
Kato
welcome.
waiting in the
Kyle,
wings
do
in
you really
case.
want to redo? Because I don't remember Horford looking too good in a Sixers uniform.
No,
He,
no, I'm just
he
saying you're welcome. It's the least we could do as Sixers fans. Just beat the Knicks. That's all I ask.
if the
Uh,
Knicks get past round one,
They might not. They might not. It's
I
a
yeah,
little
like
dicey.
Detroit. I
It's a little
like
I think
Detroit.
dicey.
I think Topher and Karan are sweating.
Mike,
I do think that the Knicks take care of it, but I do think it'll be interesting. I think what the Knicks lack, what we've talked about, is they can't play pick and roll defense. Their two best offensive players are their two worst defensive players in Brunson and Towns. So they really lack, especially when Cade's getting open shots. I think what you will see is like what would bug me if I'm a Knicks fan is I think I heard this stat correct that Karl Anthony Towns didn't take a shot the final 18 minutes of the game. So he
Mm.
didn't have a fourth quarter shot attempt, and he didn't attempt
Wow.
6 or 7 minutes into the third quarter as well.
listen.
Like if you are Karl Anthony Towns, you need to stand there and scream for the ball
Yes,
and just absolutely dominate the guy in front of you.
100%. 100%. Demand the ball and don't take no for an answer. Demand the ball, and he's soft when it
I,
comes to that. He will
I,
not demand the ball, and he'll just stand there.
Yeah, he won't play bully ball.
No.
that's just baffling that he didn't put up a shot in the fourth quarter.
It is.
Baffling. In a playoff game. Well, he's not too used to the playoffs, so he needs a few more games under his belt to really get get the picture, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't know.
he hasn't been in the playoffs since Kentucky.
That's
That
not
was a
true.
long time
Minnesota
ago.
made the playoffs a lot, just not successful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
usually one and done.
But I mean, the thing for me with them is it just has to be a takeover, and you have to be disappointed in Miles Bridges and like, or is it Mikal Bridges? Sorry, whatever. Mikal Bridges, not Miles Bridges.
Yeah.
But like for what you gave up for him. But somebody's gonna have to show up on the defensive end. It can't just be OG Anunoby. And I don't think we talk enough about how good he is both offensively and defensively. He's a
Oh,
true, like, he's
he,
basically on
he
the
was
tier of
locking
being a
down.
star in this league, but they need somebody else to play defense that's not him. You had Cam Payne have a huge game in game one, and that's great, but then he played 4 minutes in game two. Like, this is something that's got to get figured out if they're going to move on.
The
Listen,
Tibbs effect.
nothing's going to make me happier than seeing Tobias Harris put the dagger in the Knicks. Nothing will make me happier.
Oh, that would be
That's
incredible.
The
poetic
most
justice.
mid player of all time, Tobias Harris.
Hey, he's $100 million heir though, thanks to the Sixers.
He's true. He's true.
You want an oversized contract for doing next to nothing? Come to the Sixers, buddy. We
Could
got you.
have could have had Jimmy.
Could have had Jimmy.
You'd probably still be playing playoff basketball right now for like the fourth
Who
year in a row.
who knows if we would have had a title by now with Jimmy in that court?
Yep.
But you never know. We could play the what if game, and as Knicks fans will be playing that after about 2 weeks from now. What could have
Yeah.
been? What could have been? Listen,
I
Let's go.
think
I
that
said
the
it.
best. I think that the best series is going to be Clippers Nuggets. Like, oh my God, what a series that's going to be. And you know what
Yeah.
sucks? I ain't staying up for any of it. I'm going to
Nope.
bed.
What
Amen.
sucks is they're going to beat each other up and they're going to exhaust each other. So whoever they play in the next round is just going to dominate them.
Yeah.
But I said it in the chat this morning. I don't think it matters if OKC plays their game. Everybody else is just playing for that runner-up finish. It won't matter.
Yeah,
I know that they're
that first
young. I know they're young and they don't have a ton of experience when it comes to the playoffs, but their talent's just going to take over, man.
I was having
They are.
Easter with my family and I look up at the score. I'm like, huh? What?
Yeah.
I'm like, this should be a memory I'll think of like 30 years from now. Like, what was the biggest playoff deficit in NBA history? Oh, it was on Easter in 2025, OKC and Memphis. Like, I couldn't even believe that. They were doubling them up and then some.
Yeah,
Absolutely
Yeah,
wild.
once
that
they
was
got up
insane.
30, I turned it off, turned the Phillies on, and watched them blow a lead too. So my Sunday afternoon was horrible until 7 o'clock WrestleMania.
You guys big Jordan Romano guys? That
Oh,
guy's looking great out there. I think
Come
he's got
on,
a
Ben.
15
Ben,
ERA right now.
Ben, what are you
Hey,
doing to me? What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's available in my fantasy league, and I'm
Yeah.
debating
Oh
whether or
no,
not to buy
I
low.
dropped him. I dropped him for that reason. I made up a reason to drop him, but I dropped him. I had him for 10 cents, and I was like, he's not even worth 10 cents. Get him off my team.
Oh, I've
It
been
was
meaning to tell you this quick story all week. I keep forgetting it, but I'm in Pennsylvania. I listen to a lot of local sports radio when I'm up here. And on Monday morning on 97.5 The Fanatic, the host was talking about how bad Marsh was, and he was like, they got to let Rojas play more. And all I could think, like, he's going on and on. He's ranting is probably harder than you were on the last episode here about how bad Roas was. And this guy wants Roas to play more. And you're like, we got to get him out of there. And the local Philly host is like, we got to play him more. And I'm like, what is happening? Philly fans don't have any idea what's going on right now.
There are two options. It's either Brandon Marsh or Roas. I mean, both of them are horrible. You got Captain Caveman and Johan Roas. Like, they're your two choices for center field.
Captain
Are you kidding me?
Caveman. I like that.
and
hot
you know,
take. They need a Go ahead,
no, go
Patty.
Benny, Ben, go.
Hot take. The Phillies need a youth injection. Bring up the son of Carl Crawford, Justin Crawford, to take his place in center field in Philadelphia for the next 10 to 12 years.
Here's the problem. They're idiots, and they're playing him in right field and left field in AAA. They're not even playing him in center. So
Oh my
that's the
gosh.
dumbness of the organization from top to bottom. Like, they get this
Uh,
talent, they finally have talented guys, and now they're talking about putting Painter in the bullpen and ruining his arm
Bat him in
just
the
because
wrong
their
spots
bullpen
in the
sucks.
order.
Yes, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They just need a brand new start from top to bottom. Get them all out of
yeah, I forgot you guys have Dombrowski. What am I saying? Crawford's going to be trade bait for a reliever at the deadline.
there.
Got
Yeah,
it.
but it'll probably be Carlos Estevez, who was already on the team last year. That's who they're going to trade for.
Yeah.
It'll never happen because they're way too good. But could you imagine if the Phillies actually went to a rebuild anytime soon? They could they could stack their system from top to bottom with trading some of the players that they have that they could get rid of.
Yeah,
If I
but you
mean,
can't trade Bryce unless he's going to a team that can afford him.
yeah,
So it's not like you can trade him to a team that has. So okay, realistically, the teams that could take Bryce Harper's contract are who? The Giants, the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers,
Padres.
The Blue Jays,
Yeah.
Padres,
we don't
and
want him,
that's it.
Patty.
And do any of them have the farm system? You're not going to. I would. Okay. Right now, am I saying would I trade 5 prospects for Bryce Harper? Absolutely. But they're not going to trade him to the Mets.
No,
And then,
the Mets
and
don't want him. No.
like, and then, so you got to think. I'll take him. I don't care what you say about the Mets want him. I'll take Bryce Harper
Oh,
for
you
sure,
you
man.
hate the Phillies, so you're not a good Mets fan if you can accept a Phillies player.
I can accept a Phillies player if it's Bryce Harper and he's playing in red and or in blue and
Red and
orange.
white.
I can take
Red,
that.
Bryce Harper for Tristan Casas. Who says no? I don't.
Everybody.
all
The
Everybody
only
except you.
Philly, the only Philly I
right,
would
all
never
right,
take,
fair.
the only Philly I would never take in a Met uniform is that
Chase Utley.
loser Chase
Chase
Utley.
Utley. The greatest second baseman in your lifetime, Patty.
Wrong. Kaz Matsui was better than him.
Get out
Dustin
of here.
Dustin Pedroia, don't at me.
He's horrible.
Oh,
Steroid Robbie Cano. I'll take over him.
Hey,
yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, touche. Robbie Cano, there it is.
well, let's slide down to the college ranks for a second. I see Cody has
Well, thank God.
re-entered. Give me a state of Kentucky report. Let's get into transfer portal. Still wild.
I'm pretty sure that no other college could touch Kentucky's NIL this year. I think it's up to 20.6 mil. I think we're paying.
Jesus. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Nobody's gonna be able to touch it. Not
I read
even
an article like literally like 5 days ago talking about how absurd it was that 10 teams were going to get to 10 million this year. And now you're above 20 that quickly.
It's the gold standard. We're the
You
gold
guys were
standard.
like, I mean, this order was, I think it was ESPN, and they were like projecting you just a couple days ago for spending 10 million, and you've doubled that in a week.
Listen, we're the New York Mets of college basketball. We have an endless supply of money. Okay, we'll just pay people whatever to come there, just like the Mets are doing right now. It
And
may
if,
it
Hey,
may
we're
win
not
us
the
a
Dodgers. That's
championship
the
though.
Dodgers, bud. We didn't buy
and
people this year, and we didn't buy people.
You bought Soto. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
one guy.
Mike, you can't
We
say that we didn't buy people, but
fine, one guy.
and it's not like we're paying
Dodgers
them
bought like
outrageous
10
amounts.
guys.
We're not paying
Cody,
outrageous amounts.
Cody, who was the big donor for the NIL? Was it Weetabix or was it somewhere else that they're getting all this money?
I would love if it was Weetabix, but I'm going to say the name, but you probably won't know. Their name is Kraft. They got a gym named after them out here, and the girl is actually a senator. The wife is actually, I think it's a senator or a congresswoman. Or they might be the same thing. I don't know. Anyways, it's one of them. But she
They
is
got
big
that
time.
real deep money.
Yeah, they got that old school Kentucky money that just is endless. And
I
it's
don't,
not.
Cody. I love you. I don't know how they do things in Kentucky, but congresswoman and senator are the same thing.
He goes,
They are.
Senator or Congresswoman.
Well, in his defense, he said they might be the same thing. He just didn't know.
Yeah,
He
I
said,
don't
"I
know.
don't know how it works." Yes,
Yeah,
that is how it works. You got it, brother. I love you.
I know.
You
I know
got it.
two things.
Nope. No
I
more
know.
politics. That's
Yeah,
that's the end of politics right there. Let's go.
I know two things. That's Call of Duty and Kentucky basketball. If it ain't in those two things, throw it out. I
Let's
Amen,
want
whoop
just
brother.
ass
want
in both
anybody,
next year.
And if you
and I'll
don't
talk
stand for
basketball.
that, head on down to Loserville, Kentucky, and live with the rest of those bums.
Should be in your contract to have to do one Cody impression per episode on the members podcast.
Dude, it's spot on. It is
It is.
spot on. It's so good.
And I can't even get mad. I'm quite impressed. Like it's not, it's right there. It is on. You know what I mean? Like there is
We
no
need we need like
discrepancy.
a Cody puppet that you pull the string and it's Patty's voice. That's what we need because that sounds
Wow.
exactly like him. That's what we need.
Patty's Cody's Jeff Dunham.
Yep.
Yes, it's so good.
God. Oh Lord have mercy. But
Man.
speaking of Kentucky, we're gonna whoop. You can bleep it out if you can, but we're gonna whoop ass this year. That's what we're gonna do. I don't think. I don't think nobody's gonna compare. And then Boogie Flan from Arkansas got in the portal, so that's like karma, and I really like it. So, I already sent that to Kyle. As soon as I found out, I sent it straight to Kyle. Said, "Look at this."
Yep. And we said we don't even care if he comes to Kentucky, but he left Arkansas, which is even better.
Yep, even better. So
You
happy.
guys got to be running out of room to sign people.
No,
Yeah,
they
we
got
are.
two. They got two spots left, but they usually reserve those for walk-ons and some of those guys. So we'll see what happens. If
Do you not have very many guys coming back?
they had 5 coming back,
Okay, all right.
Kentucky's got a deeper bench than Knicks.
100%, probably
No
better too.
joke.
Yeah, better, absolutely. Except Carl Anthony Towns. I'll give him the doubt. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's soft since he went to New York. I don't even recognize him anymore.
No New York slander.
Keeping with transfer portal, did you guys see Nico
My
signed with
gosh.
UCLA
Yeah,
With a pay
Nico.
cut.
for less money than he was going to get from Tennessee?
What
And
an
that makes me
idiot.
happy. That makes me so happy. I'm glad somebody stuck it to that kid. And
Did you
didn't
see
let
the
him.
UCLA quarterbacks going to Tennessee?
That's
How
Really?
ironic is that? Yeah, it's
Oh, I
crazy.
didn't
They
see
just
that.
swapped plot. Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
it's musical chairs. We talked about, I said this last week with the hope that he might land in UNC. There's not many teams that don't already have a settled quarterback,
Yep.
coming into the fall of this year. So, Tennessee was obviously a very clear landing spot, I think, because they had just lost their quarterback, and this guy's looking over there and saying, hey, man, I see an opportunity. And the coach is saying, this guy over here might be the best thing we can get, even though he's probably not anywhere near as good as Nico. I mean, you got to take the best thing you can get at that point. I think that's what they did.
Who's the coach at UCLA?
I try not to dive too much into spring ball, but did you see the absolute rockets that freshman kid at Michigan was throwing all over the yard in their spring game?
I didn't.
Holy crap. That guy throws the piss out of a football. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
Against Michigan?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's I don't know his exact measures, but on tape he looks about 6'7", 280 throwing the
Dude,
rock around the yard.
He practiced with them last year, and it looked like he could have started for them last year, but because of the rules and everything, he couldn't. But like he looked dominant when he was on the field. He looked like a man among boys, and he was a senior in high school.
Yeah,
You know
kind
what
of
I
like
mean? Like
Griffin
going,
Canning against the Phillies tonight. But
What's
other
his
than
name?
that,
God. Listen, no Philly slander when we're talking about college football.
What's his name? Is it just Michigan's quarterback? Is it the
Yeah,
starter
I
or
can't
what?
think of his name. He's an incoming freshman, I believe.
Okay. I'm going to have to look it up because I did not see that.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. Ridiculous. The problem is I don't know if they have enough receivers to catch that ball. You know what I mean? But they're going to be good. They're going to be
Is
good.
he even going to fit their offense or what it was in the past?
Well, Harbaugh's not there, so they're changing their plan up a little bit. Corey will be able to tell us, but they're not doing.
Segueing here. Did Donovan Edwards leave for the draft, or is he coming back for another year for them?
I thought he left for the draft,
but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Mike
sure either.
Speaking of the draft, what do you guys think about the NFL draft coming up this Thursday?
I was going to say, speaking of Corey Dickinson, because he is blowing up the chat right now. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to all the chat, but he's got questions for Trey. He's got love for Patty.
I'm in your room, Corey.
Let's get into that NFL draft as our last or next to last topic here. We're coming up. We got less than 48 hours to first pick, I think, at this point. And it's shaping up to be a good one. We got our own Topher Pete, Chris Peterson, and Tony P going to be out in Green Bay going live to the draft. Maybe we can get a live, as Matt would say, vignette. I don't even know what the hell that is, but Matt's always asking people to tape some vignettes. So maybe these guys can tape a vignette out there for us. What do you guys think about the draft coming up? We got two Eagles fans. Ben's a Patriots fan. Cody, do you have a football team?
Kentucky players.
Kentucky players. And
we'll
Patty
adopt you
Steelers.
as an Eagles fan, brother.
As Patty, you're probably one of the. Well, Patty and Ben, you guys both got important picks. What do you think about your picks coming up here?
They got to go quarterback in the first 2 rounds, especially with the Aaron Rodgers situation looming. I just hope they get it right. I'm under this, guys. If for some reason, and I don't think he'll fall that far, but if for some reason he falls that far, I'll take Shador at 21, no questions asked. No questions asked. Realistically, what I'd love to have happen is they take the best defender available or maybe an offensive lineman that falls in a pretty deep draft, and they take Jalen Milroe in the 2nd round. But, I hear rumors that they love Dart. We'll see. But Bryce Underwood is the kid's name. Corey just put it in the chat. That's the Michigan guy, Bryce Underwood. But I would be very happy with Shador. I don't see a way he falls out of the top 10, but we've seen crazier things happen.
Wait, going back, Mike, did you say there was 2 Eagles fans here?
Well, yeah, I thought you.
No, you've been mistaken. We own you. Go Pack, go.
Oh, I forgot. Oh my God, how did I forget that? How did I forget my rival?
I don't know.
Oh my God, I give you shit every time I see you in person, and here I am calling you an Eagles fan.
Patty, everything I'm seeing.
Nobody cares
Jackson
about your
Dart
draft pick anymore. We still only got 3 people to talk to.
Kyle, I heard that was the latest rumor that they really like Dart. So
yeah, I don't think Shador is a top 10. I just think he's more hype than he is.
Well, I think most people that didn't go to Kentucky wouldn't get top 10 worthiness from you.
No, absolutely not.
I just don't. If this is me personally, maybe I feel like Shador's getting overhated because of Dion, because of other things, because of this whole jersey retirement thing that's clearly not his idea. But
Yeah.
the way I look at Shador objectively is I think people knock on him because he's not an elite athlete. He's a great pocket passer, but he doesn't have the intangibles that jump off the page. So his ceiling isn't as high as some of these guys, but I think his floor is much higher than some of these guys. Like, I think Jackson Dart has a way higher ceiling than Shador, but Jackson Dart could flame out in a half a season for all I know. I think that Shador Sanders has the accuracy and the capability mentally to be a good quarterback in this league. And I think that he's getting a little too much hate for things that are out of his control. He took Jackson State to a better program. He took Colorado to a better program, whether you want to say he is a jersey retirement or not. He took both those programs to relevancy well beyond they were before.
How can you? I don't disagree with that, but since you touched on the jersey thing, how can you? The only reason they're retiring his jersey is because they're retiring Travis Hunter's. Travis Hunter won a Heisman, was one of the greatest athletes to ever play there. Cordell Stewart doesn't even have his jersey retired for them. There's no way Shador is better than Cordell Stewart was for Colorado, right? So the only reason that they're doing that is so he doesn't get his ego hurt because he's going to be a first round pick, probably a top 10 pick. That's the only reason. Now, having said that, I don't disagree with you. I think he does have the intangibles to be a solid NFL quarterback, but his athleticism, depending on where he goes, is going to be his Achilles heel, right? If he goes to New Orleans, like everything that I'm seeing with that top 10 pick, that might be a good enough system for him that he can do well in Kellen Moore's offense. You know what I mean? That would be intriguing. I'd be interested to see how that pans out for him.
He's got to go to the right system at the right time. Talent-wise, I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback or a top 10 draft pick, excuse me. But going to what Kyle said, he has to go to the right system.
Wherever he goes is where his dad might coach in 1 to 3, 4 years.
There's some
That's why
speculation.
Mike brought up a great point earlier, and Corey might not like this since he's watching in the chat, and they might not get Genty, but I can see the Raiders taking Shador because in 2 years, Dion's going to be the coach.
Yep.
Tom Brady's part owner. You got Dion and Shador in Vegas. Come on, man. It makes too much sense.
Tom Brady trained Shador, too.
It makes way too much sense. Way too much sense.
Yeah, and even though they signed Geno Smith, he's not what you would say young anymore. So you got to start planning for that future.
Even if Shador sits on the bench his first year and learns from Geno, that still makes sense. And then let Dion coach one more year in Colorado and make the switch. I mean, Pete Carroll's 130 years old?
You know,
he could probably still run a better mile than half of us.
Yeah, he's the most energetic coach.
Yeah.
I think could be really interesting is I think there's some teams, and there's been a lot of talk around the league that late in the draft are either looking to move up from the late first round to the early first round, or that are looking to move back into the first round from the early second round. So what I think would be really interesting is, to me, you know where I think is the best landing spot for a quarterback? Maybe this is me as an offensive play caller guy, but someone's going to get really lucky to play under Matt Stafford and Sean McVay for a year or two before he retires. And somebody's going to get real lucky to play there. And that whoever that guy is going to end up being very good in this league because of who they get to learn under.
Kyle McCord from Syracuse.
Or Will Howard, one of the two of them.
If McCord seems like he's that Stafford-style quarterback that McVay would like. If he goes there with that offense and with those weapons, that could be McVay's next guy that he has for a decade, right? And with McVay being as skillful as he is with the play calling and scheming up stuff, he's going to be. I think McCord has a chance to be a really good pro. He has a hell of an arm. He's a good quarterback. So put him in the right system and watch what can happen. You know.
Yeah, I just hate Syracuse, so I won't say anything.
Well, I'm with you. I mean, when the greatest quarterbacks ever come out of Syracuse
Donovan
is
McNabb.
Number five. Five will always love you.
There it is. Full circle.
There it is. Always bring it back, brother. Always bring it back.
Ben, you're in the opposite position. You got your quarterback's in place. It seems like. What are we going to do at pick 4?
Well, I am Team Drake May, so I'm glad that he's our quarterback going forward. But as a Patriots fan, I'm hoping somebody loves Shador and trades up. Like Kyle, I think you just mentioned the Saints. I think they're at 9. Like a scenario I've heard is they trade us their pick and Olave because we still definitely need receiver help to move up to number 4. That's some rumors I've been hearing.
That'd be
And then
that'd be sick.
yeah, that'd be a start. Diggs, Olave, and then whoever they pick up in the draft. There's a guy out of Miami, Restrepo. I've watched a lot of Cam Ward. I was telling all you guys long ago, go look at the episodes. Cam Ward, #1 pick, and here we are 2 days later. While watching some of those games, his slot receiver, Xavier Restrepo. That's who I want the Pats to get. Maybe second, third round, and he'd be a perfect third in our receiver
He's
room if
nice.
we, yeah.
I think he just kind of is the same build as Javon Baker and McMillan, Jalen Polk, who they took last year. Like, if I'm
Oh
the
my God,
Pats,
I hate
if
that guy.
if I'm the Pats, and whether it's at 4 or 9, like maybe I'm higher on the guy than most, but like I'm taking Tet McMillan. Like Tet McMillan is your prototypical AJ Brown type receiver. He's 6'4", he's got huge hands, he runs great routes. That's what the Pats need, in my opinion. But
Yeah, if he's like AJ Brown, gimme.
Yeah,
That's
sounds good
that
to
was
you, right?
That was Vrabel's guy, and I've even heard AJ Brown. There's been some rumblings that if Philly wants to move up to take I think it was Abdul Carter if he falls to 4, they could make a pitch AJ Brown and something to go get Abdul Carter. I don't know. I've just been hearing that.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't see. And look, the only way that he falls to 4 is if the Giants make the dumbest move I've ever seen, right? Because he's going to fall straight to the Giants. It looks like it's going to go that way. Unless the Browns do something dumb and they take him instead of Travis Hunter, and then Travis Hunter goes to the Giants. But there's no way he falls to the Patriots, and I don't think the Patriots just loaded up on defense anyway, so I don't see them taking him. If the Patriots were smart at 4, if they stay at 4, they need to take a tackle. They need to take an offensive lineman to protect Drake May. That's what they need to
Yeah,
do. I know it's not the flashy pick, it's not the sexy pick, but you got to be practical with Drake May's your
Hey,
future
Kyle, you know it
quarterback
as
for the
well
next
as
decade.
anybody. If you're going to win in the NFL, you better have a good line.
Trenches. Yep, you got to build the
yeah,
trenches. Yep,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
100%.
the Bears had rebuilt their whole offensive
Yeah, we
line.
did.
It was
Looking forward to
ridiculous.
whooping up on some Packers this year, boy.
Not even close. Rashawn Gary.
Yeah, who you
He's
guys
going.
going to draft? I don't even know where you're at, in the 20s somewhere?
That's what happens when you make the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
You get those
know.
later
I
picks. Oh, all
know.
right.
In typical fashion, they'll sign or they'll draft a D lineman or an O lineman. They don't. They're always their first 2 rounds are always defensive linemen or a linebacker that will be on the team for 2 seasons, and then we'll cut them every year.
Yeah,
How?
everything that I saw has them taking an edge guy from. I
Right,
saw
because
them taking the guy from Texas A&M.
our first round pick a couple of years ago, Van Ness hasn't done squat really.
he's terrible.
He's horrible. So we got to get someone on the other side of Rashawn Gary. I wanted them to sign Khalil Mack. That's what I wanted.
He's
But
still got some gas in the tank, man.
I know that's who I really wanted. But
That guy's
he
fierce.
re-signed with L.A. I think.
He did,
Yeah, he
because
did.
I was
Yeah,
paying attention to that. I was really,
Because they
really
cut
hoping the Bears
Bosa
might
too.
bring him back.
yeah.
LA cut Bosa, so they were bringing him back.
Is he
Yeah.
signed on with anyone, or is he still free right now?
I don't remember hearing anything. That's a good question.
Mm,
I think
Uh,
okay.
he's still a free agent.
yeah. Rumor was he was going to San Fran with his brother.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Listen, I would never say not the AFC North as an AFC North guy, but depending on how this draft goes and depending on what JJ McCarthy looks like in a couple months, NFC North best division of football probably. Like what I think the Bears are going to turn into, maybe I'm higher on them than most. Like that division is going to be so fun to watch.
It's going
Mike,
to be
I don't know
tough.
what they have the Bears taking. I said that they probably should go with a little more O-line help, but if Tyler Warren gets to him, he's going to be hard to pass up, I feel.
The Bears were by far the unluckiest team in the NFL last year. Not even close. We lost 4 games, I think, by like the dumbest plays in the world.
Well, they were what, 5-2 going into that Hail Mary,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah. Is your
Karma, though,
Stevenson
man.
jersey coming in the
Your
mail?
your cornerback celebrated too early, man. It was karma.
Yeah.
And then we
Ruined
after
the whole
that we
season.
had a missed field goal that should have been made, and then we had a blocked field goal, and
That's right. Blocked
oh,
field
don't
goal.
worry, that
that
block
was
field goal,
against
I
the
had the
Packers.
over of
Yes,
42
we
and
should
a
have
half.
beaten the Packers. We should have beaten the Packers twice last year.
You're
The
starting to
over
sound like
42 and a
Topher
half
with
in
all
that
these
game, and they
excuses.
missed that field goal.
What if?
Oh,
Hey,
I know you're making up a lot of excuses. What you did?
don't
didn't
make me
gel.
go back to baseball. The Mets are up 2-1 on your Phillies right now.
You needed the whole season to come together as
Jordan
a
Romano's
team. That's
warming
why
up.
you lost. Listen, now that we can talk about the Super Bowl champs, you know, what can they do? You know, like they're coming off a historic Super Bowl ass kicking, right? So I see them going with the offensive and defensive line unless Colston Loveland falls to 21. If he's at 21, they got to jump up in front of the Chargers to take him, and they will. I guarantee it. They have the draft capital. They have 20 draft picks in the next 2 years. They can't obviously draft all those people and sign all those people, so they're going to use those as collateral. And don't be surprised if they add those as collateral for the next couple of years because they got some big contracts they're going to have to pay for the next few years with some of these young rookies, right? So I can see them trading. Maybe they even trade Dallas Goedert to the Chargers or whoever's 21. I think the Steelers are 21, so I don't think the Steelers need a tight end, but they're going to try to hop the Chargers because Loveland's a Harbaugh guy. You know what I mean? But if he's there, they'll probably take a swipe at him. If not, they'll do offensive and defensive line in the first couple rounds. So
got
it'll
to
be
replace Milton Williams.
yeah, yeah. They got some guys to replace Milton Williams, but I'm more worried about the edge. I think if they need to have that rotation in there. I mean, their offensive line's pretty shored up now for the next 3 to 4 years. They just gave Juergens a 4-year extension, so that core of the offensive line that are Pro Bowlers will be protecting Jalen Hurts and blocking for Saquon for the next 3 years.
But how long's Lane got yet?
They just signed him to another 1-year deal, so he'll probably play this year and next year. He probably has 2 years left. The dude's an Iron Man. He's an absolute Iron Man, and how he started the whole contract extension, transferred into a signing bonus with him, he's done that 5 years in a row to free up cap space. So, it's something that they've worked out. They come to agreement on it, and they'll probably sign him to another 1-year extension next year too. They started doing that with Kelsey too, and it kind of works out well for them. So I could see them doing that with Dickerson and Juergens over the next few years, just kind of adding those ghost years to the end.
Right.
I still don't understand why more teams don't do it. I mean, Howie printed the blueprint for everybody, and nobody knows how to do it. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, the thing is, Kyle, unfortunately, most of our offensive linemen don't make it past the age of 33 on our teams and then still playing well.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Well, you got Jeff Stoutland's probably the wizard behind the curtain there, keeping these guys healthy and teaching them proper techniques. So
God, how long did I can't remember his name, but your most recent tackle before this group?
Jason Peters?
Yes. How long did he played until what, 40 or something
Forever.
like that? It was
41.
ridiculous.
41. He just retired.
With Seattle.
Yep.
And he played for the
retired.
Cowboys for like 2 or 3 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't mention that era in his career.
He was a beast for the Eagles until when did he had to be mid-30s when he left you guys. He wasn't young.
He left after the Super Bowl year in 17. So yeah, he was like 34 or 35.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that was
he was
like
still a stud at that point.
That was like the last big Steelers run in like 16, 17, 18 was when their line was Pouncey at the end of his career, David DeCastro, Alejandro Villanueva. Like those are big. Like obviously we know about the Patriots and their long run, but I think people forget how good that offensive line was for years and years and years.
So
as
let me ask you this as a Steelers
Trey and I
fan.
attest every day on Twitter. That's what counts first.
As a Steelers fan,
we all sound like Topher talking about offensive linemen.
Would you rather tank 1 year, Patty, to get a good draft pick, or would you rather this 9-8 making the playoffs every single year?
It's such a hard question. It's such a hard question.
Is it? Because you haven't. You're not winning titles right now, so I would just.
I think that the correct answer is that you'd love to say tank for a year and get a top quarterback and move on. And I think that's the correct answer. But
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I
sir.
think that there's also something to be said, and you could call me crazy, but I think there's something to be said about stability and a culture of winning and what that does for a team. Now, I know the Super Bowls haven't been there over the last almost 20 years at this point, a little shy of 15-ish years at this point, but at the same time, I would never root for my team to lose. What I think realistically what it would take for me is if they had a couple big injuries, and again, I'm not ever rooting for that. I think that would be a little bit easier to swallow, is if they had a couple big injuries and they just couldn't compete. But I'm under the compete until you can't anymore, and I know it sucks being in pick limbo. I get it, it sucks. But let's not act like they've missed on a lot of these picks. They missed on some, but traditionally they hit. There have been the Artie Burns and Jarvis Joneses of the world where they miss, but this is the same team who got TJ Watt at 29. They got Cam Hayward at 26. They got, all these guys that have helped them stay consistent through the draft. So I will always side that I want to keep winning, but I will never argue with anyone that says they need to tank for a year and get a quarterback.
So no
Kyle, I
trust
think
in the process in Pittsburgh?
Kyle, I
No
think he
trust in
was
the
taking a
process?
shot at us when he said he would never root for his team to lose.
I think that is what he
Tank
was
for
saying.
Cooper.
Yep, tank for Cooper. That's all right. That's all right.
See how
When
it is,
Tatum
Patty.
finds out that he has a hairline fracture in his wrist, he's going to be very upset.
Kyle, did you
Not that I wish that
pre-order?
upon him.
Take it
Kyle,
back. Take
Kyle,
it
did you
back right
pre-order
now.
your did you pre-order your Father's Day card for Joel Embiid to send to Al Horford every year that says "Thank you, Daddy, for owning me in the league"?
No, but I did. I did send out a whole bunch of your welcome cards to all you Boston fans for taking Al Horford back. You're welcome. He's
I
been your
think
best bench player.
I think
He's
that
a
might be a
stud.
good spot for the dumb shit. We're running a little
Kyle's
long.
just sad because Kyle would rather have Markelle Fultz than Jason Tatum.
Nope, nope.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with that pick. I did not agree with that pick. So I don't want to hear it. I didn't agree with half the shit that they did. Oops, sorry. There it is. I
I'm a
didn't agree
Phillies
with half the
fan.
stuff that they did.
Leave it to a Phillies fan.
Do you think that
Sorry, you got
Cody
me
has?
fired up. Trusting the process.
Do you think that Cody has realized that he's been muted for about the last 25 minutes?
No, I know I was. I was reading the comments and it said I had background noise. I said, "Alrighty then." I was waiting for my perfect opportunity to come in like a snake. That's what I was doing.
It's that Wi-Fi in Kentucky.
It is. It's
He's
just
on
not.
that Mamba.
Yeah, it's not basketball season, so the Wi-Fi's kind of down right now. So.
You gotta write a letter to your congresswoman.
No, it's his senator. Senator.
Mayor, governor, senator, congresswoman. I feel like it's all
All
the
right.
same.
All
All
right.
right,
Now
boys.
that's the end of politics.
Yeah,
No
that's
more
gonna be the
after
end of
that.
the show. We're gonna get out of here. We're running along. Gonna keep it easy on our producer with the editing. We're gonna shut it down. I appreciate you guys all being here tonight. Once again, this is the members podcast. Any of you people watching can join it. All you got to do is go to theclashingconferences.com, fill out that easy form that we're always talking about. If you're watching this show and you're not part of the network, I don't know what you're doing. Get on here with us. Thank you again. See you guys
Unless
next
you're a
week.
Loserville fan.
John Cena's the
Yeet.
GOAT. John Cena's the
Yeet.
GOAT.
Boom, boom, boom.